broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the huddle. Me, Coach Muddle, Hugh Janus, Captain Jack. Captain Jack stuffing his pie hole. And, the rest of us are just getting ready for, interesting night tonight. We have a baseball game with captains, alternate teams playing.
No.
Alternate. Just alternate, not alternate.
It's exactly. It's the alternate with AL in particular in front.
All right. Anyway, the alternate teams.
No, it's not the alternate.
All right, we'll go
I don't
with
have
the alternate.
a fucking alternate team. I don't even have alternate teams. I just have rooting interests. And that kind of pisses me off there, Coach, because the way that it's out there, it's like an alternate way of calling me a fucking bandwagon fan. I'm not a bandwagon fan.
Well, he never called you a bandwagon fan, Captain.
No.
Yeah.
But it's implied, and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
I
think what hurt, Captain, and this is nothing, it just so happens to be this year the Lightning win the Cup, and now Tampa Bay are in the World Series, which that's out of your control.
I understand that, but it's I've been following the Rays since I've been going to games here, and I follow the Lightning once I stopped hating them, and I admit I hated them for the longest time when they beat my Flyers way back when they won their first cup. So it's only until I got to know some of the players that I appreciated that I liked the players. And John Cooper, their coach, is a Raiders fan. So you put all of those things together. It was like, they're not a bad team to follow when they have really decent players that are personable.
They got from the Rangers.
Victor Hedman get from the fucking Rangers because the Rangers suck. Thank you, their coach. Okay. I think they only have maybe 2 or 3 players on their team that are from the Rangers.
Yeah.
6? Okay, name them, Coach.
I can't name them, but
all right,
let's
move past you two and talk about the
all
game.
Right, since we'll keep the topic on captains, 2 alternate teams.
It's not 2 alternate.
All right, well, you two stop. All right, let's calm down.
So, Nick, what do you got? You got some stuff going on for that? You want to give us a couple of,
I mean, there's a lot of props. I haven't really looked at them, to be honest with you, because a lot of it's more sucker things, in my opinion. You can go by a game-by-game basis, and like tonight, you can get over 1.5 bases on Betts. I like that. I mean, Mookie Betts is a good player, so essentially he gets a double and you win. Now look, there are some nights you can go over 4, but he gets a walk, whatever. So that's one thing I'll give out. I'll give out Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases, and same thing with Corey Seager. Corey Seager's been lighting it up. He's the captain. Pronounce his name for me for the Rays. Is it Ozareno or the guy who's lighting it up?
Arozarena.
He's just been 7 home runs in the postseason, been lighting it up. The best player on the Rays. And the guy, I think that if they're going to win, is going to have another big, round here in the World Series. As for the Dodgers, Seager, 5 home runs in the NLCS, obviously the NLCS MVP. I think they have a little bit more of the Dodgers. Maybe Bellinger has a big series. Betts has a big series. But the Rays, I think Ozareno is going to have to, although Margot's played good too. But I would lean on Ozareno, obviously, to be the guy for the Rays. But yeah, so I'll give you those 2 things. And then for MVP, Jock Peterson's like 40-1. Now he's had a bad year, but Captain mentioned it like a week or 2 ago that a lot of times you see Bellinger's going to play, from what I heard, Mike. You see in these World Series where guys you've never heard of, not that you've never heard of Jock Peterson, but these guys will just have these magical World Series runs. So that's where you can look in the value in the MVPs. And Peterson has struggled this year, but hey, man, no better time to get it going than in the World Series. You know, like I'll say Steve Pearce a couple years ago with the Red Sox. Nobody had heard of him. He's the World Series MVP and gets a big contract. And he was pretty much a minor leaguer until, like, I believe almost 30, and then kind of got into the league and was more of a bench player and had the huge World Series where he hit multiple home runs. I think it was like 3 or 4 home runs for the Red Sox, and they win the World Series, and he's the World Series MVP. So you do see a lot of that. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, especially for the Rays more, because, you know, the Rays aren't very known, and, you know, maybe there's a guy, Cash is hiding, you know, that could come up and have a game. And look, I think the Rays, I don't think you can question when you talk about salary cap and whatnot, when you look at what they have to work with and the Dodgers have to work with, the Rays may be the best run organization in baseball. I mean, because they're playing with what, maybe a sixth or a fifth of the money that the Dodgers are playing with. So, and Coach, I hate when you do the one thing, man. Keep it in the 3 boxes, all right? Everything my hands look huge, like, you know.
Well, they are huge.
Well, they are huge. Well, I got something else
huge.
that's huge,
I mean, what
Coach.
the hell,
So,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, so, you know, it'll be interesting to see. But the Rays, the fact with the money they got, and the only thing is when you have a year like this, some guys tend to want to get paid. I don't know how these guys, their contracts work for the Rays, but yeah, I mean, just, you know, they don't have any high-priced free agents, and they're consistently a good team. I mean, and now they're in their second World Series in 12 years, which, if I'm correct, that's as many as the Yankees. I think the Yankees have 2 as well. So, you know, now not the Dodgers, but still, I mean, it's impressive for what they have to Hugh Janus is my name. It's a Coach did it. You know, he's a jerk off. He put my name in as a joke, and now I got to deal with it.
Anyway, what about, you know, Bellinger? I mean, freak act, you know, I mean.
I wouldn't call it an accident. I would call it more stupidity.
Yeah.
Captain, have you heard anything? I heard he's playing. That's what I believe Dave Roberts said.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything to belie that, so I would think so. I mean, he's probably. I mean, why rest now? You had like a day. You had like 2 days, actually maybe a day and a half of rest for the Dodgers. The Rays had 2.5 for that. But yeah, I mean, he has at most 7 more games to go. At most.
Right.
So it's like you tough it out, and as long as you can deal with it, and he's dealt with it before.
Right.
Then maybe he takes something off his swing. Maybe it'll probably be, you'll see it offensively. I don't think it's going to affect him defensively out in center field.
Neither do
but yeah, he might.
No, it's his left arm, I believe. Oh wait,
yeah, it was his right.
Oh well, we'd have to look that up. But no matter what, I would think, because it came out, it was dislocated. And I know that's not going to be just you're going to wake up the next day and everything's good. You know, I've dislocated my shoulder before. And, man, if you'd see the thing, my shoulder dislocated. Somebody went up and popped it out. All you see was literally just me just go like a freaking tower, like just going over. And then as soon as I went on the ground, you see that natural reaction of me kicking my feet, obviously, because, I mean, it was some of the worst pain I've ever had in my life. And then you got to go through the pain and putting it back in place. And I remember how sore it was. So he's going to be sore. And let's not forget, too, he's only on 1 day's rest. So I will be curious to see what happens. And now maybe managers will tell, hey, guys, maybe especially in the playoffs, let's stop the whole, where we link arms. And those guys go in, and these are athletes, who are lifting weights every day a lot, and you're going as hard as you can to hit arms. I mean, it's like that dope Grammatica. He tore his ACL.
I was going to say, what? God bless it. I was going to say the biggest stupid celebration move since Grammatica with the Cardinals. When he kicks a field goal, so happy he jumps up and down, and I think it was an ACL that when he came down on it, it was messed up. So, Such is life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, I swear.
Automatic dramatic after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just try hitting a tree drunk on Jim big time pain. Yeah. I'm sure that would hurt too, hitting a tree. I don't, it's not, I flipped my car. So yeah, I know how that goes. And as surprising as it would sound, I was underneath the steering wheel afterwards. So even as big as I am. So, yeah, Gus Farad headbutt. That was pretty
Gus Farad, good old Gussie Gus. Yep.
Yeah, but back to the series. I think this one's going 7. I mean, look, I said the Dodgers now the last couple months. I got to stick with the Dodgers, and I do think, as crazy as it may sound, I don't like obviously that all the pitchers they had to pitch in 7, but I think Kershaw missing the game and them still finding a way to get through has now become an advantage. Because you have Kershaw in 1, and if they can get out and get that lead tonight, this is a very important game for the Dodgers. And, you got Buehler going in 3, who's their best pitcher. It's an advantage. And not just that tonight. Glass now, not a great postseason pitcher. He's got like a 5.6 ERA in the postseason. Look, he can throw hard. I mean, look, everybody on the Rays throws 97, it seems like. I mean, the guy that scares me for the Rays, obviously, is Morton. I mean, the guy, he had 0.4 ERA in game-clinching games. So that's the guy who scares me because there's just certain players, Kurt Schilling was like that when the big time's there, Clemens was that way, they just can find a way to elevate their game and take it to the next level. And that's Charlie Morton. I mean, Houston won a championship because of him. And I'll tell you this, they regret letting his ass go because if he's on Houston, they probably win that series and beat the Rays, excuse me.
But he's the game 7 guys. How are they doing the off day? What do they play 2 off, and then
2
I think it's 2 off, 3 off, 2.
Yep, right. And I think that's better, obviously, for the Dodgers because you can plan around it. Like I said, when you're in that 7 games in 7 days, I think that leans towards the Rays because the Rays have the great bullpen, and it's to their advantage. So I think this leans better to the Dodgers. Obviously, doesn't mean they're going to win, but I mean they're heavy favorites. I mean, which I was surprised because I don't think this is a coin flip per se. But I would say, in my opinion, I would go like 60% Dodgers, 40% Rays. But they're 2-1, so you got to lay $210 for $100. I mean, that's a pretty big favorite to win it, and I don't think they're that much better than the Rays.
Yeah, we're talking about the 2000 World Series, Angela. Yeah, of course we're talking about this World Series. Come on.
No, well, she's talking. We were talking about Charlie Morton. He pitched for the Astros when they won it in 2017. I was talking about that. And Schilling, that's before. But Schilling was let's not forget the bloody sock game, man, where he's gotten a tendon attached. And sorry, coach, I know that was against your Yankees. Sorry, Jason, I know that doesn't sit well with you. But I know with the Phillies, and I remember with Arizona, he beat you guys there too. Schilling's a gamer, man. You can't deny it.
Yeah, he was a gamer, but it is what it is. He showed up and got it done when it needed to be done.
She's putting an asterisk on it. That's what she's talking about. Asterisk 2020. Get it. I get it now. Oh, Captain don't like it. I can tell you that.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Now, what do you guys got in the World Series, Captain?
He's sitting there chewing his food. He's got 2 alternate teams. It doesn't matter.
Coach, let it go. So he's deep in thought.
All right.
Again, Coach, double fuck you. Okay, I want to make sure that gets done. I have my AL team or the alternate team that I support, which beat the fuck out of your Yankees, and that still pisses you off. So that's just the way it is there. I probably would say Dodgers in 7. I think that it's their year. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rays won in 7, but looking at what they have I like the Rays pitching better than the Dodgers, but I like the way that it's set up to help them out. Like you said, the off days and rest, they can throw different. They can mess around with their rotation in order to help them out a little bit more. But I'll say Dodgers in 7. But that's
and Captain getting Buehler twice and Kershaw twice, that helps them. You know what I mean? To where it's obviously if it was 7-7, you don't get Kershaw twice, you don't get Buehler twice. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Rays got Morton, but still that plays to their hands. And then you can throw the kid who the one thing Dave Roberts did do that I really liked in Game 7, Urias. He stuck with him. A lot of guys would have pulled him. He was 6 up, 6 down. I was so worried he was going to go to Jansen because Jansen did look better in the last game he pitched. But, it's Game 7 of the LCS here. He stuck with Urias. Urias shut him down in the 9th, and you win the series. So I thought that was one thing Dave Roberts did right, managing on feel and not playing everything by the damn computer.
Yeah, I would say that I'll take the 2 games that Morton has. I'll take that. I'll take those. I just like I said, Morton is money. Snell, for a former Cy Young winner that he was that like last year or the year before? But he was the Cy Young winner, but he's been relatively inconsistent this year. And I said, what's his nose? I cannot remember his friggin' name. The guy that we got from the Pirates. Glasnow. I always want to say Syndergaard, but I know that's he's on the Mets, but it's just that G and S thing. He was a very good pitcher in the regular season, but I don't want to say he's been bad in the postseason. He just hasn't been as overwhelmingly good in the postseason that he was in the regular season.
Right.
Especially, I say last year, he was lights out.
Yeah.
And I'm talking last year, the full year.
Right.
He was decent this year, but we'll see what we have. That's why I said I'll take a 7-game series. I like that number as well. I think that Kershaw is probably going to gag at least one of his games. It's just because I think it's up here. With him. I don't fully expect him to win both of his starts. Buehler, I like in both of his starts. So, like I said, it's going to be a 7-game series. And watch out for people like Renfroe or Brasso, who took Chapman deep.
Renfroe, isn't he?
No, his name's Hunter Renfroe, too. It's the same
really? It's the same name.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, say it spelled differently.
With an E, I mean, with an E. I think it's with an E and the other guy's with a W.
Right. Hunter Renfroe, the receiver for the Raiders. Hunter Renfroe, the outfielder with an E for the Rays. Okay. But he's a good, like I said, he's a good off the bench type of player. I want to say Margot has played wonderful as well. I think that the Rays have a lot better underrated bench players than the Dodgers do. Dodgers got a lot of good guys on their bench, but I like the Rays. Everybody off their bench is somebody that will surprise you. Yeah. And that's another reason why I think it'll go 7. Somebody's going to get that key hit.
And the one thing about the Dodgers too, they're one of the more patient teams when it comes to hitting. They'll make pitchers pitch and throw a lot of pitches. I mean, Muncy and Betts, obviously. Bellinger, there's a lot of hitters up there that are very, not patient, for a lack of a better word. And the Dodgers will come out and make you throw pitches and, take counts full. So that's one thing with them. That's what they did to Anderson. Anderson, I think, had almost 80 pitches after 3 innings in Game 7. So the Dodgers will make you pitch. They don't chase a lot. And once again, like we said, I mean, you look at that lineup. You got Betts leading off. You got Seager too. You got Muncy, who is having a down year, but still he's a player. You got Bellinger. You got, obviously Jock Peterson, who was a stud. Had a down year this year, but still, you never know if he gets hot at the right time, he can be dangerous. But whatever. Like I said, the thing that's good is you got the two best teams that were the best during the regular season are now playing in the World Series. And I think, and look, you know what? I think it's been a good playoffs. We all might not like the results, but I think it's been a good playoffs. It really has been a lot of good games. Coming down to the end, two good championship series, and I think we're going to have a really good World Series.
I think so too, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
really can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right, great. You'll probably be you and 3 other people watching that game.
No, yeah, right. There's gonna be a lot of people watching. I mean, Dodgers have a huge. I mean, I know the Rays aren't as big, but it's it's the Dodgers, and it's still baseball. It's World Series. I think a lot of people will be tuning in.
Okay.
Who do you like, Coach?
I'm jumping on the bandwagon here. I mean, I was the Dodgers, and surprised me that Captain went against his alternate team.
You asked me who I thought was going to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not a matter of rooting interest. It's called being analytical in what your thought is.
Oh, okay.
Which by the way, now that I got another segue to fucking come at you with, okay, the fuck is this shit? Say, oh yeah, gee, Coach, thanks for letting him come at you from the scouting. Don't you like to watch things and take in notes so that you sound a little bit more intelligent when you're about ready to make a point for things? Like if you're going to be talking about a Buccaneers team, for people that ask you on their shows, Coach, and not you necessarily, but I've been asked, no. Oh, so you like to be the pretentious asshole that you think you okay? Well, that's fine.
He does like that a lot, Captain. He loves being a pretentious asshole.
Talking about. So when somebody says something to me, I said, I agree with that because I saw this player doing that in several of the games. I like to know what the hell I'm talking about. So you know what? And then
I just pull it out of my ass.
Double clutch.
I'm not analytical.
I am an analyst. That's what I do for a living. Okay.
Yes, but you couldn't analyze the fact that it was a goddamn fumble on Monday night.
Let's not go back to that. Now, if you heard
one more, and I'm gone.
All right. One more. Calm down. Calm down.
No, you don't believe me? Oh, you don't believe me?
I mean, if you got to go, you got to go, Captain. If you can't take it.
No, I'm not. It's not that I'm taking it. You're fucking, and I like you, Coach, but you're fucking ignorant. And that pisses me off. Yeah. Ignorance pisses me off. Okay. I like you personally, but your ignorance pisses me off. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Can we move on to Miami? Now, the Dolphins today, and, I like the move, but I think you make it last week. Let him play the Jets. Now his first game's going to be the Rams, and you got Aaron Donald coming at you. To me, just for the confidence and to make them feel comfortable, let them play the Jets. Let Tua go in against the Jets. It's almost like playing a JV team, getting them a little, let them, but as we all know, guys, confidence is a big thing with quarterbacks, and it can go quickly. I mean, look at Joe Burrow. Everybody was loving him, and now he's been getting killed for 5 weeks. And, I don't think the confidence is there as much. So I would have probably played Tua last week. I like the move regardless. I've been saying it. I like Fitzpatrick and all, but I think, they got a shot at the division. The Bills lost last night. Josh Allen does not look as good as he did. They're 4-2. Obviously New England's 2-3, I believe, and Dolphins are 3-3. So they got a shot at the division, and I think your best chance at winning, in my opinion, is with Tua behind quarterback, other than Fitzpatrick. Excuse me.
I think we talked at the beginning of the season. I thought this was about the time they were going to probably put him in and just to make sure that injury was right. I mean, they gave him some snaps on Sunday. So
last series though, or last 2 series. I mean, it wasn't.
I probably would have put him in a little bit sooner than maybe the whole second half or something. But and man, Dallas looked bad last night.
Yeah, but now, what do you think on Tua?
I agree in the fact that actually, I don't even see why, other than giving him like here, kid, it's the end of the game, go in. Right. I would have had him play the entire game. against the Jets. Again, because the Jets are a team that really have nothing going for them. He could have had a whole game of confidence building instead of just like that last series that he did.
Right.
I like the introspection a moment where he was out there. There was nobody else in the stands, and he's soaking it all in. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they told him that at the end of the game says, guess what, kid, you're starting next week. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why he was out there soaking it all in, saying, yeah, this is now my team, and I got it. But yeah, why throw him a bone with 2 series to go? Like, yeah, rah. Have him play, like I said, a tune-up game against a team that is not very good. And now you're going up against a team out in the NFC West, which actually does have a very good defense when they have all their things going for them. And I don't understand it. I don't know who they play after the Rams. But, I'd have to look at the schedule. But it's weird timing. Coach did have it right, said about 5-6 weeks.
I think he did say around the bye week. That's what he said. That's right. They have a bye this week, and then he's going to start. So he did say that.
Going with the ones.
I just, with that hip and thinking about Aaron Donald as a coach, that would worry me. Yeah. That would worry me. I mean, you're talking about probably – this might be the scariest pass rusher in the game right now. I mean, definitely internally, in regards to defensive tackles, no doubt. And, I mean, so they better have a game plan. They better be double teaming Aaron Donald and beware. I mean, but look, Tua played a lot of big games in Alabama. I know it's not the NFL, but still, I think he's prepared. And we'll see what happens in game 1. And I think the Rams, too, you saw it. Let's not forget, you saw it against the Niners. They were 4-1 going into that game. But let's not forget the 4 teams they beat, the NFC East. That's who they beat. And that's this division. And look, the Eagles are banged up, and even Dallas is banged up. But this might be the worst division in history. I mean, it's bad. And like I said, I contribute a lot of it with the Eagles to injury.
It's going to be a division winner. I don't think anybody gets to 500.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's a pipe dream. I
mean, come on, look, the winner of this game is either tied or going to be in sole possession of first place come Thursday night.
And then the Cowboys and Redskins play on Sunday.
Right.
So, I mean, I really believe there's a chance 6-10 or 6-9-1 for the Eagles might take that division. And you just think about that. That's and I'll tell you this, though, as crazy as it sounds, I wouldn't want to play the Eagles if they're healthy. If they have Jeffrey and Jackson and Rager and this Fulgham kid and Ertz and Goddard, because they're all supposed to come back. If they have their full complement, the Eagles, it's still a team that's been in the playoffs the last 3 years, that's won a Super Bowl winning head coach. I'd much rather play, per se, the Bears than them. And wouldn't that be a great first-round matchup? Because the Bears, I think the Packers are going to win that division. And the Bears then would be the highest wild card team. So it would be Nick Foles versus old team in the playoffs. Because obviously the Eagles would be the lowest seed of the divisions, obviously. So it would be Eagles-Bears in the first round. And boy, wouldn't that be a story with Nick Foles coming to Philadelphia to play against his old team. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens because the Bears are 5-1, and the defense looks good.
No,
and Foles is winning games.
Nick, he does. If they're the top wild card seed, they don't play the division winner.
Yeah, they do.
No, the bottom. They play the other.
Well, I don't think they're going to be the top. I meant I don't think they're going to win the division, though.
No, but the wild card, it's going to be the lowest seed wild card plays the lowest seed division, and then the 2 wild cards play each other.
Right, but I'm saying I think
it's going to be different, though. You have 3 wild cards in 3 divisions. Each team is going to play a wild card team.
But I'm saying to you, Coach, if they're the best playoff wild card team, they would play the Eagles because the Eagles are going to be the lowest seed of the teams.
Right. Yeah.
You follow me? Yeah. They're going to be the lowest seed of the would be Eagles Bears.
Gotcha.
So which would be a big story. I mean, it would be a big story, especially in Philadelphia. And it's a shame it wouldn't be fans to say it because it would be wild. I mean, Foles is like God. There's a statue of him in the stadium. And there's that whole debate of Foles Wentz. And I think it's hung over Wentz's head a lot. I really do. And I think it's part of his problem. I think there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I think it's Super Bowl or bust. And, I think that's part of the reason and look, I think a lot of it's unfair. I think there's a lot on his shoulders and he's trying to do too much, but still, he hasn't gotten the job done. I will play it at halftime. If the Eagles can make it to the playoffs, I'll do it.
He'll play with himself.
Now, did you guys hear too? Washington still going to be the football team in 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they said today.
I'm not going to give him a name.
Right, and I said this when they came out with all of this stuff. They're going to have the name. I said no. I said normally it takes about anywhere from a year and a half at the minimum to get everything squared away, to have the production line done. So even if they say to have the name like right at the beginning of next year, when they start saying, okay, the team will be named the Washington Alley Cats. I'm just pulling one out of like Coach's butt there. For the name, okay, it'd been Washington Alley Cats, and they announce it at the beginning for the 2021 season. It still takes that year to ramp up the production for all of the push and all of the marketing and all the other things. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. When if they said, "Oh no, we're going to have a name by the beginning of the," I said, "No, you're not." I said, "I don't know what they're going to do because they need to make sure it meets all specs. That they go with all the lawyers that have to check out all of the different things of that is a regular name change type stuff." So when they took that name away, and they were basically bullied into it, they were bullied into changing that name. That they went on the course and said, okay, it's going to take quite a while, a year and a half to get things squared away. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I
think it's just all the stars aligned finally because Daniel Snyder was adamant he wasn't going to change.
Oh yeah.
But they had the whole sexual harassment thing come out, the climate of 2020 and everything. I just felt, I think they just felt it's better off right now to fall in line. And I really think Daniel Snyder was worried about possibly losing in that organization and almost like a Donald Sterling type situation where they force the sale. I mean,
right.
The NFL is going to do what the NFL wants to do. And if the owners want him out, he'll be out. And, he doesn't look how big of the money he's made off the Redskins. I mean, and it just grows and grows in equity. I mean, he's making money every year, but just think about equity. The team's worth billions. I mean, he's made billions of dollars in equity on that team. And I think, too, he's a power-hungry type guy. And, look, I mean, he's one of the worst owners in sports. I mean, that franchise has been a disgrace since he bought it. I picked up my black and for the
on Thursday, right?
Yeah, and he said he ain't getting it done on Thursday. So.
Oh, okay. I thought he said on Thursday that's what he was going to do.
No, that's what he said. And Coach said he won't be able to finish it by Thursday night. It's going to take him a day.
Okay.
But there you go. Hey, Stiz, just go get your toilet brush, cut the handle a little bit, put it in the drill bit, and then man, it works tremendous. It's awesome. So, just saying.
Yeah. What time's first pitch tonight? Do you guys know?
Don't care.
8:11. I just saw it. Sorry, 8:11.
So, and but anyway, yeah, Daniel Jones, terrible. But Daniel Snyder did say, he said, I think I'm just going to keep this name. Like he wasn't going to come up with a new name. He's already come out and said that he's not changing it. He's going to leave it to Washington football team.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an FU to the NFL.
Yes, that's what it is. He's just being, you're making me change it, then I'm going to change it. I'm just going to leave it at this. That's what he's going to do. So that was his, I read an article not too long ago on that.
And one thing too, Coach had brought up too about props for World Series. Another one that's good value. You can get Captain pronounce the guy. I always get it wrong.
Arozarena.
Well,
Randy Arozarena.
Arozarena, you can get him plus 900 for MVP. 9-1 for a guy like that. Especially if you think the Rays are going to win, that's great value, I think. And you got to look at things too, like on a game-by-game value. I think the Rays, especially if you think it's going to go 7, the value's with the Rays, because you look at a game like tonight, Kershaw's minus 172. So the Rays are a big underdog. And if you bet every game and bet the Dodgers last series, you lost money. If you bet the Braves, you made money. And you'd say, well, what are you talking about? The Braves only won 3 games. Well, the Braves were underdogs. One game, they were a 2-1 underdog and won. So you're betting 100 and winning 200. So in a game-by-game value, the Rays are going to be more value because the number's so inflated. Kershaw, especially in the playoffs, and pitching against a good team, shouldn't be a 172 favorite, And the other thing that worries me too, Captain had said he thinks he'll lose at least 1, and I'm curious too, what's his health like? They're not talking about that, but he had back spasms and missed game 2 of the LCS, which, I know he pitched game 4, but he didn't look particularly great. I think he pitched 5 innings, 4 runs. So, what's that back feeling like? Is he still having spasms? And, too, if you start a guy and he's got to go out in the first or second inning or something, it's going to destroy your bullpen. So that plays into it too, and I'll be looking forward to how he looks tonight, because I think it's important to get that first game. I mean, especially in the World Series.
And I think this might be the one game I'm talking about. It's that the Dodgers are coming in. They have that one less day of rest that the Rays didn't have. You got Kershaw, who is chopping at the bit to prove I'm not a screw up in the postseason, but he kind of has been. Again, I feel for the guy. He again will be, if he loses, he will be the record winner of most appearances in a postseason without a World Series ring, and that would solely belong to him. I think it's 12.
Right. Wow. Yeah, and I'm really curious too if we talked about it last night, but if the Dodgers don't win, I know you've been in the World Series 3 of the last 4 years, but to me, it's like you can't seem to get it done when it matters. And, I wonder if they move on from Dave Roberts. I mean, I know you say, but still, you've lost 3 or 4 World Series. I mean, that's not good. I mean, it's almost like the Braves. And that Braves team, to think what they had, Smoltz and Maddox and Tom Glavine and all the hitters they had, Freddie McGriff, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, for a point there. Just a ton of Terry Pendleton. I mean, they were loaded. And the fact they only have 1 World Series, is crazy. Now, I know they thought they had the one against your Yankees where they were up 2-0, and then the Yankees took 4 straight. But and the only one they could get, they beat the Indians. So it's almost like a default World Series, in my opinion. Because the Indians just can't win anything.
And everybody always forgets about Steve Avery, but Steve Avery was that number 4 pitcher, and they wouldn't have even. And a heck of a one. Yeah. They wouldn't have, but they always get Madden or Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz, but everybody always forgets Steve Avery.
No, you're right. And look, they lost a lot of World Series. I mean, we talked about the other day the Minnesota one where Smoltz, I believe, pitches 10 innings, and it was a 1-0 loss because Jack Morris just threw his which probably might be the best game in World Series history. But still, you didn't get it done. And then they had, I know they, like we said, but they lost the Yankees in '96, and there was 1 or 2 other ones in there as well. So, and they won how many divisions in a row? I mean, it was up to like 2006 or 2007. They went from they went 15 straight years winning the division, and until, 96 when the wild card started? Because 91 to 96, you were right in the LCS. Because remember, there was no wild card, obviously. So you were, you won the division. You were in the LCS series because there was only 2 divisions in each league.
And for the Atlanta Braves to be in the National League West for all those years, it is no sense at all.
Nah, it didn't. And Stiz, Deshaun is playing Thursday night. That's a definite. But I mean, We'll see how long it lasts.
For how long?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's shot. His hamstrings are shot, and his whole thing's speed. So if you don't have your legs, what's the point? Because Deshaun's all about speed. I mean, that's what he's used for. And look, if he can play, it helps out a lot. But I don't know. Coach, that line,
Ertz really hurts you for being hurt because I think he's on the trading block.
Yeah, I agree. Because
I could have seen it. You could have seen him move to a team that needed a tight end, looking to make a move.
I think it's possible. I think he's out 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But now too, Coach, I think they're going to say take out Fulgham because Ertz or Goddard's not there, so you have no tight end that scares you. I mean, Fulgham's been the guy who's done it the last 3 weeks. I think they're going to try to take him out of the game and not worry about Deshaun, or just maybe throw a safety deep. And then you got no Miles Sanders. You got Boston Scott. And I'm still surprised, Coach, because the Eagles are still a 4-point favorite.
But Boston Scott, remember, had the big game against the Giants.
But he hasn't looked good this year, Coach.
What?
He hasn't looked good this year.
I know he hasn't, but I'm just saying last year against the Giants, that's how
that was the breakout game.
He had a big game against the Giants.
On Monday night, too.
Yeah.
Now, this is Thursday night, but still.
Slayton is game time.
Game time decision?
Yeah, he has a nagging lower body injury.
Yeah.
So
and if we could go back to last night's games, obviously, boy, the Bills come down to earth. Andy ran the shit out of the ball, and that's the thing that surprises me. I didn't think their offense was going to be as good as it was, the Bills, but the offense has come down to earth. But, man, their defense, I mean, the Chiefs, Andy's never been known to run the ball.
But I think the weather really factored into that.
Yeah, but still, they were just – I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had like 170 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, they were – and any running back they brought in, it was just 5-6 yards. 5-6 yards, 11 yards. I mean, the Bills were just getting owned.
Where does Le'Veon Bell fit in?
I mean, I think he does. I mean, I think Hilaire's still going to be the guy. I think they're looking at him as, just in case something happens to Hilaire. And let's not forget, a lot of these college players in their first year hit that wall.
Exactly.
Because they're so used to the college season. Right. And now you got Bell just in case he does hit that wall. And, Hilaire had a fumble almost last night. And if you get something like that, coaches like to go to the backup. And how about, as we transition, talking about fumbles, how about Zeke last night? Yeah. I mean, you just gave this guy $90 million. And
you jinxed yourself because I believe whoever the sideline reporter was, she goes, yeah, we're talking to Zeke. He said, I don't think you'll see me fumble the rest of the year.
Right.
And she just jinxed him. Boom. He fumbled, and then boom, fumbles again.
Right. But when you look at the Cowboys, they gave him $90 million. You gave Jalen Smith all the money. You gave him the linebacker, and he's underplaying. And now, you're going to have to franchise Dak or pay him. They're going to have so much money tied into this team, they can't fix this defense. So unless they literally hit on every draft pick defensively, right. I mean, the Cowboys are in a lot of trouble.
Offensive line.
Yeah. Well, Tyron Smith's out for the year, and he's getting older. Lyle Collins is still young, but he's out for the year. Frederick, the center, he retired. And then Zach Martin had a concussion last night, who was one of the best guards in football. So, Dallas is dealing with injuries too. But I loved how everybody was like, oh, the Red Rifle, he's going to come in there. He's got a lot of weapons. They're going to be okay. Well, how did you feel about it after last night? Dak, and I said the biggest thing was going to be his feet. They were going to miss, and you could see it. Because Dak can get you those first downs with his feet and move in the pocket. And, man, when Andy Dalton got pressure last night, he almost started the game with a pick six. Former Eagle Jordan Hicks freaking drops the ball. Well, you'd have thought it was laced up with Vaseline.
Well, I was one of those guys that said I thought Dalton would be, he's not used to having that many weapons, and he
looked
good. I didn't think. I never said he was going to be better than Dak. I never said that.
I didn't.
I just said that offense was not going to take. I didn't think the drop off was going to be that big.
Right.
And as you saw last night, it was off a cliff. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that they got behind so far.
Yep.
If the Cowboys are within a score, you still have your offense, hitting with Zeke pound. But when you're down like 2 or 3 scores, it's like, hey, Red, guess what? We need you to start throwing the ball.
Yep.
And the funny thing is that you have people like Cooper, which I think had like maybe 2 or 3 catches. I know that they did the stat the one time he had 1 catch, and I giggle every time I see Amari Cooper because he wanted to go to a winner and get paid. Well, he got paid, but he ain't going to a winner.
But another guy getting $100 million that doesn't deserve it.
Exactly. CeeDee Lamb, good kid.
Yep.
And I think that he got mugged in that one play that they got in it.
That was a bad call. Yeah,
that was a horrible call. But I like the way CD played, and that'll be a positive thing for him. But they gave, like you said, all that money to Cooper. They have all that money spread out to people that are underperforming. And then you got, like I said, Dak's gone for the year. And then it's not just this year. You got to figure out how he's going to play when he comes back, because a lot of it is up here when you get an injury like that. Right. A lot of it is up there. And so he might not even be back to form until maybe at least a quarter or third of the season if he has that confidence to get him back to where it is. But I think that the Cowboys are toast for a while.
Yeah. And two, you saw it last night. He tried to run the ball, McCarthy. And I think that's the right way to do it. I mean, Zeke, you gave him all that money, take a little pressure off your defense and your quarterback. Mm-hmm. But, you have the 2 fumbles and then boom, because the defense started off with 3 stops last night. They stopped them 3 times in a row, and then the fumble happens. And the one, they were on the 50-yard line starting. And then, like I said, Zeke has the 2 fumbles, 14-0. And look, Tony Pollard looked better than Zeke last night. And Zeke's confidence, he didn't look like he took the blame for the loss afterwards. But, you really got to reevaluate, because you look at a lot of these contracts. Christian McCaffrey, I get, even though he did end up getting hurt. But he's so much younger. But you look at now, Le'Veon Bell got paid. How'd that work out? Gurley got paid. How'd that work out? Look at the Zeke contract now. How'd that work out? The way to do it is how the Raiders did it. And I'm not just going because it's captain team, but if you draft these young running backs like Josh Jacobs, you run them for 4 or 5 years, and then you say goodbye. And I know it's a shitty way to look at things, but that's how you look at the running back position in this league. Because it's a tough position, and these guys fall off a cliff.
And that's why I never agreed with Saquon being the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, and you don't draft him in the top.
You could have Chubb at the beginning of the second round. He was there in the second round.
Yeah, right.
So
no. And it's a tough position, and and look, I understand the running backs want to get paid. I get it. I would want to if I was a running back, because your shelf life isn't what other
like Chargers did with Gordon. They didn't pay him.
And now look at him. He doesn't look as good with the Broncos. He was hurt last game. It's tough, and I know it's a shitty thing, but do you want to pay somebody like Zeke $90 million? And look at the Rams. You know how much dead money they got this year because of Gurley? Right. It affects your team. And the Rams, just think what they could have done with that dead money with Gurley to maybe take that 4-2 team and make it a little bit better defensively, or a little bit younger on that offensive line, whatever it may be. That money could be spent just like with the Bears. I'll never understand. I would have traded Trubisky. Somebody might have bid on it. It's a waste of money. And that's why, because I never understood. Everybody knew Nick Foles was going to be the guy, and they're lucky they started off 3-0.
Well, they
really are.
His option. They didn't pick up his option, so he's done after this year.
No, I know.
So you're not getting anything for him.
One thing I would say though, Nick, is remember this is only Jacobs' second year.
Right.
Okay. So they still got 3 more years after, because they got like a 5-year contract with him as a first rounder. So who's to say if the Raiders do play it smart, maybe they will figure out that, you are.
Well, he might be a McCaffrey situation where he's still young and there's some left on the legs. You know what I mean?
Right.
McCaffrey, it feels like there's some juice left. Those other guys, it didn't, And I would also, you got to look and say, how many touches did Jacobs have? If he has 4 or 5 years of, 25, 30 touches a game, I would want to give him 5 years, Captain. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
And I got you. And that's why I kept telling people, I said, if Gruden is responsible for what's going on with the running back situation in Oakland, and he wore Cadillac Williams down, he even wore Mike Allstott down at the very end when he was out playing. He just wore him into the ground, didn't give a shit, and then had nothing behind them. If you're going with that, you better make sure that in year 3 of Jacobs with the Raiders, you better draft a running back. I'm not saying you need to draft in the first round, but you better hit on another running back so you get another 4 years out of it, which he would be able to pick up if you don't want to pick up that large contract with Jacobs in year 6. It's all about effective management of who you have. And I would think that maybe in 5 years, the Raiders would be one of the elite teams in the AFC, and we'll see what we have to do. I want to have that problem. But again, I'm projecting. I'm not saying it's going to happen, Coach. I said at the end of those 5 years, I'd like to see where the Raiders are.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw this plug.
And I'm sure Jacobs, he'll start looking for that contract after year 3. He will. If he has another Pro Bowl year or two, that's when they go into it, is in year 3, and they start, I want to get paid, I'll hold out. I'm not saying Jacobs is going to do that, but especially at the running back position, because they know, it's a position that it's tough to get, money. And, but like I said, every situation's different. That's why with McCaffrey, I didn't have a problem as much because he seems young and there's more tread on the tires. I thought Zeke was overpaid. I thought Zeke was more of a product. Look, Zeke's a good running back, but Zeke was more of a product of the team than I think his skill. Let's not forget, every year he was going with a top 3 offensive line. Exactly. And you got to factor that in. That's part of the game.
You could put me behind the offensive line that Zeke would, and I would give you at least 700 yards.
I always say to people, imagine Barry Sanders playing on Emmitt Smith's team, and just think what might have happened with that line. I mean, he'd have been rushing for 2,000 yards every year, and I thoroughly believe that. Yep.
All right, Captain, you want to give yourself a plug? You got something going on tonight?
Yes. Angela and I will be on her. No.
On her stick. Okay.
It's on her channel tonight. It'll be the What the Bleep Are We Talking About? And Angela, if you're still watching, get with me so I can give you the pin so you'll be able to use all the graphics that we use for StreamYard. But it'll be on her channel, For Life Our Raider Story, 9:00 p.m. tonight. And always a pleasure hanging out with Angela. And it doesn't get as volatile as it does here. There you go. Make sure you hit me up for the pin, Angela, so that you can have it for the production for your show. And it's always and we appreciate Hugh Janus being in there when he can be. I know the coach has to get his beauty sleep, and no worries there. I understand it. Teachers got to wake up early, so that's fine. But it's always a pleasure being here on Coach Muddle's show with him.
It's a pleasure having you, Captain.
Yeah, all right, good.
And yes, and Uranus, thanks for joining us. We appreciate everybody hanging out tomorrow, Wednesday. I guess we'll recap that baseball game they're playing tonight, and whatever else decides to come out. So make sure you join us. We appreciate everybody checking us out. Make sure you go over to YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell, like us on Facebook, and if you want to check it out on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to it, Anchor, you can check it out there as well.
Yep.
So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.